Welcome, guys, to the very first episode of the Sistas Council podcast. I am none other than Sharonda Williams-Marrow, the host of the Sistas Council podcast. And I am here with none other than the entrepreneur, the rapper, the mother, the child of God, the woman of God, none other than the Akbar V.
Hey, you guys. How you guys doing? And we about to get into some things.
Yes, ma'am, we are. I'm so excited that you could be here and do this with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having
grateful.
me.
I'm so grateful. Because we all know that Akbar is reality TV royalty, right? But
yes.
in the grand scheme of everything, of who she is, the mother, the woman of God, the
yes.
daughter of God, the disciple of the King.
Yes.
She's so many other things outside of reality. And you prove it. Mm-hmm. And you prove it.
Yes.
You walk in it. You walk in it, sis.
And I feel like when it comes down to God, I'm so passionate about God, because I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian woman. And a lot of times that people see me, they be thinking I'm just this bully, this mean person. But I feel like that was the old me until I had to grow into who I was destined to be. So now I'm just more so lately I just been praying, reading my Bible in my prayer closets, mm-hmm. taking care of my children. And, I'm expecting a kid on the way by my husband. So a lot of people, they tend to bring my past up, because I'm a girl that come from the hood. And I didn't have a mom. I was in the streets when I was 14. So that gave me, I was out doing a lot of things that I didn't have no guidance. I was running with the wrong people, you know what I mean? And to be here in this space, on your podcast and just been doing a lot of things that's positive, it means a lot from where I came from. Because a lot of people don't understand and know where I came from. They just go by the glimpse that they see on the TV and things like that. A lot of this reality TV is me feeding my kids because it's a job for me and mm-hmm. I got to feed my kids regardless. You know what I mean? I was able, to make it through a headshot. I got shot in the head. And I was a girl that was having kids by different men thinking that they loved me when I was growing up, and I didn't have my kids at first. I gave them to my aunt and they fathers because I was in the streets doing things I ain't had no business doing. And about 5 years ago, I went and got my kids. And I got my kids. Just in 2023, I bought my house.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a house owner.
Okay.
And I feel like God has smiled on me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I tell you something that's real deep, that I seen my house in 2016 in a dream that mm-hmm. God showed me. And 2023, I was going through so much. I had got married. It was just a lot. And when I went and I went to church, I'll never forget this. My pastor said, because I had to stay at my cousin's house because I had moved out my townhouse in Sandy Springs. And my pastor said to me, she said, Sunshine, because that's my nickname.
I love that.
She said, God's going to put you in your house mm-hmm. where you and your kids can be back together, right? Because I was staying with a couple of my kids, mm-hmm. and my other kids were staying down the street at my aunt's house.
Okay.
So we didn't have I had my own place because I had just moved, mm-hmm. and I had to get my credit together. Man, when I tell you no lie, I closed on my house November the 3rd, man, and my pastor was so right. And it's so crazy. When I had the dream in 2016, I had this dream that I had this big house with red steps, and Cortez Bryant was on the back barbecuing. Do you not know when I bought this house and when I went and viewed the house?
Come on.
Red steps. When they moved out and everything. When I went in mm-hmm. with my keys. Guess what he left? Guess what the owner left?
What did they leave?
On the back.
What was it?
A barbecue grill.
I love that. You see, it's beautiful when you're walking in alignment and those things, and God is just blessing, and you say God, I see your vision, Father. I know your vision for me, and it's a beautiful thing mm-hmm. when you allow me to see it too.
Mm-hmm. He showed me a lot. Beautiful. I see a lot of stuff. I'm very anointed.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, and you claim that. Mm-hmm. I heard you say you talked about when your children and you're not having them, and what stuck out to me when you were talking about that is that you were able to get through that because you had a counsel.
Yes.
You
And my
had
pastor was my counsel. You know what I'm saying? And what I really feel like with people, I never had like a big sister, or I was like, I never had nobody to guide me,
Mm-hmm.
and my pastor was like my best friend. She just died.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
She died in 2023, in September. But before she died, she touched and agreed, and I got that house child. But her name was Annie Woods. I love my pastor. I missed her so much, but that was my guidance. And now my pastor, that was the assistant pastor.
Okay.
Her name Annette. I think her last name McLaren. Don't get me, but I call her Pastor Annette. But she's my guidance. You know what I'm saying? My
Okay.
guidance now. And what people don't fail to realize is I pay my tithes.
As you should.
That's what keeps me in rebuke the devours.
Okay.
Because Malachi 3:8 say, "Will a man rob God?"
Okay, she quoting scripture now.
Well, yeah,
Let's
ye
go.
have robbed me.
Let's go.
So I feel like, and don't get me wrong, everybody is not religious. Everybody is not Jesus Christ followers. I follow Jesus Christ. So a lot of stuff in this industry I had to turn down because he showed me, no, this not the right door for you.
Right. All
And
money
people
ain't
don't
good money.
understand
That's
that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? God has really, really had his hands on me through this whole time. And, with the council, I feel like it's a lot of people that potentially could be a counsel. But if I don't see God before they come into my life,
That's
then
right.
you can't come here. Because of what I've been through. And if I'm out of God's will, then it ain't going to work
It's
anyway.
not gonna work. That's right.
Yeah, so I don't just be going and grab people no more. I used to it, and I hit my face, and I'd be like, God, get me out of this. And when God get me out of this, I go put myself in something else. And, so he done always had his hands on me. And what I always try to tell God is like, don't give up on me, God. Just stick it out with me. I said, I'm trying, even down to me being a wife. I got married. I don't know how to be a wife. I'm really a gangster.
That's you.
I'm a retired gangster. Like, been through a lot for real. And it was
You in
good.
your soft girl era. Though.
Yeah, I am.
And
I
it looks
am.
great on you. Sis.
I am, and it's like I've been asking God to just like send me women that's married that can teach me to be a wife, that can show me, like, God, give me direction. I'm a Christian. My husband's Muslim, and it's just been so much chaos.
I can only imagine.
Yes, because one thing about it, being that I have done some wrong, and his heart is very hard, and I've been praying for him, like, God, just help him, and I did a lot of things to hurt his feelings. He did a lot of things to hurt my feelings, and I'm just all over the place right now with emotions and things like that, and I'm just asking, God, for direction on how I do this, and what do I do, and because it's hard for me.
So
Like,
who's
I'm
supporting
really
you through that?
nobody.
You need a counsel, right?
And I don't like to bug my pastor, even though I know she always praying for me. And I got a sister named Tianda. She basically that's my sister in Christ. She basically try to help me out as much as she can. But I don't like to put too much on her because my burdens are very heavy right now. I got a lot of heavy burdens. So what I've been trying to do is just stick it out myself and go in the closet. I got a prayer, in one of my closets in my room. I got a pillow and a blanket. I just lay there and cry out to God.
Well, there's no comparison, right?
Yep.
Because when you laying it all at his feet,
That's what I do.
There's nothing more, right? The scripture says, if you gonna pray, don't worry, and if you gonna worry, don't pray,
Exactly.
right? So you doing what you need to do, but
But me being pregnant and he's all the way in Philadelphia, I'm in Atlanta. It's like I'm going through a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot that I'm going through, and I'm covering all this stuff by myself, like. And on top of that, got all my kids.
Yeah.
They a handful.
Absolutely.
And I got 2 dogs. They a handful. It's a lot for me, man.
I want to know, you're from Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, right? So how much of that do you think shaped who Akbar is today?
Oh, well, everything. All of it. I wouldn't be Akbar V if I didn't come from Cleveland Avenue.
Okay, so
and I'm gonna be honest about that.
Okay, do you think that you have any residual trauma that you may certain things may trigger you?
A lot of trauma. I have a lot of trauma. And I always felt as if, in this industry that nobody gave me grace. Nobody gave me grace. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Being that I started loving hip hop as a girl that from the streets. Didn't understand that certain things you can't say. Didn't understand because I said some things that hurt people, and I never had artist development.
Right.
And that is another thing that I felt like God didn't shoot me to the top because He knew I wasn't ready.
Okay. You
And
felt
I'm
like
gonna
he was
say
preparing
that
you.
I'm still in my preparing season.
In your
I'm just now
cocoon.
about to go
You in
to the
your
top.
cocoon.
Yeah, I'm just now he's about to do something. He's finna shift something for me.
Amen.
Yeah. And it's just now. And I've been in this industry so long. And a girl just wanna rap. That's all I
it.
ever wanted to do. It's rap.
And you going to.
Yeah, that's it.
And you going to because you're so talented.
Yes, and that's all I ever. And I felt like in this industry, it was looked at as, oh, she's difficult, she's this, she that, but nobody ever gave me grace. And I'm being honest. Like, this is me being real. I never got grace to know that I'm human. I've been through a lot. I never even healed from trauma back as a child. You know what I'm saying? I've been through a lot, and nobody ever gave me grace. It was some people that came along that just stood by me and that was forever been in my corner, like Cortez Bryant. But in the industry, I just never got grace.
Never felt supported.
I never felt supported enough.
Never felt supported.
And a lot of that is because a lot of it I was in my own way.
Yeah.
I take full accountability.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is I just didn't budge to certain things because it wasn't for me to do that.
Do you think it was you not trusting because of maybe some betrayals?
No. It ain't that I don't trust. I just don't have time for the bull crap that come with it. And it's like people will come along and say, oh, I'm finna do this, I'm finna do that. And it's like, if you don't hold your end of the bargain, I'm holding my end of the bargain, and what are we doing?
Yeah, because it doesn't feel authentic.
Facts.
I definitely
I'm really one of them ones that if I say I'm going to do something, my word, all I got. If I tell you, say for instance, if I tell you, hey, I'm going to come to this place tomorrow with you, that's all I got is my word. I'm going to come there. That's all I got.
That's in this world.
Yeah.
And when you said that, you feel as though you haven't been given grace, right? So with all of the struggles and everything that you dealt with, what drives you to keep going in the industry? Like what makes you say, you know what, I'm still going to do it? Like regardless who supports me, who's listening, what's making you?
Well, I think what make me keep going is because I had a dream and a vision, and God said that He was going to do it for me, and I'm holding on to His word. He promised me a career. Like, He promised me. I remember back in 2016, and He don't lie. His word can't come back void.
He don't lie.
He don't lie. Period.
He not a man.
When that had, he told me, my pastor, I call my pastor, the one that's deceased now, Annie Woods. And I said, this when I got shot in the head, and after I got shot, my name come up in the homicide. I had nothing to do with the homicide. I was guilty by association. I ran to God then because I was like, God, I ain't had nothing to do with this. Like, I know you ain't finna let nothing happen to me if I ain't had nothing to do with it, right? I ran to God. I had to go on a run because I was not finna go to jail for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I had no bars. So like, what?
Right.
So, long story short, I told my pastor this when all that was over. I said, Pastor, I'm going to rap. I'm going to do my rap. And she told me, baby, it's other world. That's exactly what she said. And she was a woman that kept it real. She didn't lie. And she lived what she preached. And that's why I always tell people, because I know I carry the gift of prophecy. And one thing about me, when I tell somebody something, because I was just on live and I pray on my live sometimes.
I see you.
Yeah. And I went and told this lady something. I said, hey, somebody on this live got breast cancer. This is how anointed I am. But let's go back to the 2016. I'm about to point everything out. So she said it's of the world.
Rapping.
2 weeks. No, she said the music that I'm doing is of the world, which it is.
Secular music.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's of the world. It is.
Okay.
God came to her 2 weeks later and told her He was going to take me to the top and make me a star. And it was going to be for a season because I have a work to do for Him. I used to go get readings done, which is not of God. I'm honest.
Okay, sis.
When I was going to get the reading done, this lady told me, she said, you are evangelist.
Yeah, that don't...
Listen, because this is how you know God will use anybody to get their word across. She said, you're an evangelist. She said, and in the midst of you doing your career, your music, you're going to be prophesying to people. I was scared to prophesy to people because I didn't want to be judged. Oh, 1 minute she talk about God, the next minute she doing this.
People don't like you to grow. Yeah, God forbid you grow.
I say that to say this. I stopped praying with people because I was like, you know what, God, I don't want to speak cursings and blessings out the same mouth. I would get on live now and just say, y'all, let's just pray. Come on, we finna touch and agree. Come on, I need to pray. I need to. They don't know that was helping me. I needed the prayers. I needed to pray.
I want you to know I prayed with you when you went through with your daughter. I prayed with you. I was online praying with you. Sis.
Yes, and I was hurting.
I was online. I know. I was online praying.
But do you not know God showed me that something was going to happen to one of my kids? He said something was going to happen to him. And my daughter, she had an AVM in her brain. She had an AVM. And I was yelling her name to come downstairs, and I just know that she was scared, and her eyes just went down, like she couldn't lift them up. And it hurted me so bad because, you know, once again, I know what the things I done said in the past, you know, but I done grow, you know, and I apologize. Even the things I said about Lexi's goddaughter, you know, I had to go on her to apologize. And she apologized to me because I never for once came at her first. You know what I'm saying? People always use my kids as a something. And when they do that, they use my past. It's a trigger to me because it's like, I got my children human like y'all kids. Why bring up my parents if I bring up my children?
Because they know that's to get a reaction.
Exactly.
They know, because they're saying, she didn't change. Watch this.
Yes.
She didn't change. Look how much she changed. But I know how to trigger her.
And I don't want to be all over the place. When that happened to my daughter, God had already showed me something's going to happen to one of my kids. So they was asking to do something online. They was like, can we go somewhere? And I said, no, because God showed me something's going to happen to one of y'all. So I didn't let them go. And that, man, listen, that's why I love God the way I love him. And regardless of this music that I'm doing, I told God, I made a pact with him. I said, when it's time to switch over, I said, I'm going to be ready. I said, and I'm not going to come back and do secular and gospel. I said, I can't straddle the fence.
That's right.
I said, when you get me there, God, let my whole heart be ready to change with it, right? I said, let me be ready to change with it. I said, I don't want to be 1 minute I'm praying and talking about you, and the next minute I'm over here doing worldly music.
Yeah.
But I say that to say this. My pastor had that dream, and when she had that dream, she called me back 2 weeks later and told me, she said, God said he's going to take you to the top. It's going to be for a season. And I just had a dream like a month or two ago, and God came to me and he said, when you make it big, don't do this. He told me an instruction not to do. So that's when I knew that. A lot of people saying, well, maybe he done did it already. I said, he ain't did it yet. I'm going to know when he did it. He ain't did it yet. Because in my heart, I'm going to know, oh, God, he done did what he said he was going to do. He did his big one with me, but he's about to do it. So I say that to say this, you know, this is why I put him in everything that I do. I love him so much. And a lot of people, they crucify me because I will cuss you out when I'm not in the spirit, you know. But I still have to go and, you know, ask God for forgiveness and repent. Because I repent a lot.
Good and holy.
Yeah. And a lot of people, you know, they crucify you for that. Not even knowing that, you know, when you judge me and your life ain't together, what you call that?
Right.
You know, you're not practicing what you preach. And, you know, sometimes I done said things and done that too. So I be like, okay, well, let me just stop speaking on people until I clean me up.
That's right.
You know, that's being real. You know, we got to clean each other. Like, I got to clean me up before I go over here and clean you up.
Check me. That's
right. Let me do that for me first, and then I can help you.
Pull up my own skirt.
Yeah.
Pull up my slip showing. Yeah. I'm talking about yours, right? I definitely get that. I would say, what do you think is like the biggest misconception of who Akbar is, the celebrity versus Valerie, right? Like who would you say that your children and your family would say who Valerie is versus Akbar V? What's the differences?
Valerie is more soft and gentle and a mom. She love God. Akbar V is just an artist. She lit. She energetic. She the people's champ.
She lit. And I done seen her perform. It's a party. It's a party. I've been there. I told you I got videos on my phone right now. Last year
I go into a whole different person.
Yes, she does.
Yes, I go into the artist.
Last year.
But it's two different people. It's definitely two different people. Like Akbar V, if you ever get on my live and I'm with them children, oh baby, I be mama mode. Oh, you know, I don't play with them children. Now, I'm old school, even though I'm young. I'm old school where kids didn't sit in the room with grown folks while they talking.
Okay.
And a lot of these people is allowing the internet to raise their kids, and I don't do that.
Okay.
You know, and I'm being honest. You know, if you ever, I don't have to. What I didn't want to do is exploit my children.
Right.
Meaning, if they want to get on the internet, let them get on there.
That's the choice they made.
That's what I didn't want to sit here and be like, oh, y'all gonna do this. Y'all gotta do this on the internet. No, I'm not that parent. I love my children, and I love my kids. Getting my kids was the greatest thing I could have ever done.
Yeah.
And you know they still gonna have that situation where, oh, she don't got her kids, and they will see my kids in my house
and still have something,
and still get on the shade room in the neighborhood talk and say you ain't got your children. What?
Well, you know that people got to have something.
They just gonna talk. That's when I knew, like, I cannot argue with a dead horse. Like,
as you shouldn't, because you can't tell who's the idiot from from that point of view.
Empty wagon.
I want to say, I know you like myself have experienced the loss of their mom. Mm-hmm. I lost my mother. I was 17 years old when I lost my mom.
I was too.
So we've basically raised ourselves, mm-hmm. right? Like, so I know the only way that I sit here today is by the grace of God mm-hmm. and the women in my life that were able to counsel me, mm-hmm. right? So with that, I have experienced some betrayals and some things like that. How do you like navigate those types of relationships where women are like, they're supposed to be the people that held you down, that supported you, and then they betray you? How do you come back from that? Like, how do you heal from that?
I think I used to, being honest, I used to fight them. Just me being honest.
Physically. Like whooping ass.
Yes.
Like,
I would fight. I'm coming to get you. If I say I'm going to get you, it could be 3 years from now, I'm going to get you.
Okay.
This how I used to be. Now I just have discernment with my circle.
Okay.
I don't have too many friends. I don't really hang around. I don't go outside. You know, I've been in the house with my children.
Oh,
right. It keeps me out of trouble.
That's right. I mean, that's your happy place. Like, I feel safe there. I feel safe.
So how I deal with betrayal is I don't invite certain things in that I used to invite in. You know, once again, like coming from where I come from, I can tell a snake from a mile away. And due to the fact that I got discernment and I'm anointed, I can go in a room and see who don't like me. God be telling me people business. I'm being real.
So people don't understand. You and God gossiping about.
Yeah, he tells me. But it's not my job. See, that's when you got to know.
Don't call me out.
No.
What God goes? You tell me later. Don't tell me.
That's when you got to know, how to navigate everything,
mm-hmm.
So a lot of us black women, we are broken. Mm-hmm. So we go hurt other people because of what we've been through. Mm-hmm. I was one of those ones that hurted a lot of people because of what I've been through. Yeah. So now I just try not to. If I know this is gonna, I think before I try to think before I speak.
Sometimes we're human. Right?
Yeah. So sometimes I blurt it out, but then now I've been just trying to be quiet. That ain't your business. Stay to yourself.
Well, I know I'm walking in alignment if I feel bad. I'm not comfortable. Like if me and you get into it and I can't sleep.
That's God telling you.
Yeah, that's like, I know. Like,
well, that's God. That's God telling you, like, you was wrong.
Like, you know you dead.
That's just like when I was, like, I'm going to be honest about my tithing. When I told you about tithing. When it's for me to pay them tithes, let me tell you what God do. It'll keep coming up in my mind. I was in church one day and I had to go get this man some money. And I said, God, now wait a minute. I said, wait a minute now. Sometimes you gotta just have to go, wait now. What you
Hold
just say?
On now.
I supposed to give him the money, but I seen large coming in my hand. Mm-hmm. It was a vision that go straight across my face. Somebody was giving me all this money. It was in bands.
Yeah.
But I had to give him.
Yeah.
And it kept coming up.
You like, well, what you gonna do with it?
It kept coming up. I didn't even say that because I'm a strong believer that whatever God told me to do, I'm finna do it. I'm gonna be obedient.
That's right.
I don't care what nobody else say. My brother to this day, he called me. I just blocked him. I blocked it. That's why I block people. I don't play no more. If you that's my blood brother.
I've had to block my son.
He's calling me, telling me, you don't need to be paying your tithes to these churches. I said, baby, you better get up off my phone before I cuss you out. I said, because my tithes have kept me this far and have protected me.
Period.
And one thing about it is going to keep protecting me. Mm-hmm. Please get off my phone. Mm-hmm. Period.
That's right. That you have to pay your tithes. You got to put, absolutely. I want to ask you though, like looking at what you're saying, like you're saying people are still trying to judge you in reference to your kids. What are you doing differently now, like to show, number one, you've been redeemed, you have your children in your home with you. So what do you think that, how are you mothering maybe different? Are you think you're mothering differently, or how do you think you're navigating
I
it?
think I want to do parenting classes.
Okay.
I want to do parenting classes, but I mother different because it just come natural.
Yeah. But you're softer now.
Yeah, I'm very much
You're
so
not
soft.
mothering from a
Even with
space
my
of
other
survival.
son, he's so much like me, and I have to get on him like, boy, don't go to this school and do this up in the boy. His name Doche. That's one of my sons. I stay on, but I have to stay on him because I know who he is. I know every last one of my children's strengths and their weaknesses. Now keep in mind, they've been with me like 5 years now.
Right. Okay.
Going on 6. I know they strengths and weaknesses. So I'm a little harder on him. And I had to explain, I said, I'm harder on you for a reason.
Because you see more.
I said, not only that, he's anointed. And not only that, I have to teach him certain things because if I don't get him and stay on him, he'll fall in thin air. And I don't want that to happen to him.
Right.
And I know, like, which child I ain't got to really worry about. But I know you. And I told him, I said, I got to worry about you because it's a reason. And I explained it to him because he felt like, Mom, you just always on me. I said, it's a reason, and I took him the other day. We just went out and we rode. He went to someplace and we just talked. He said, Mom, you be saying things you shouldn't say to me. I said, okay, well, I probably do because, I got a little mouth. I said, I'm wrong. I said, I'm going to tell God to help me stop cussing. I said, it's hard for me to stop cussing, but I'm asking God. I said, I'm asking God to help me.
I know.
I said, bear with me, but he was right.
The same.
But he was right. He was dead right. And that's my baby because he the one that gonna tell me the truth. He don't care. He don't care. He be like, but Mom, he still tells me the truth. And I just be so angry with him because he do things he don't supposed to do. But I talked to him and he said, Mom, I'm gonna do right. I'm gonna do better. I said, okay. So that's what I've been.
Looking at the life of Akbar, right? Like knowing that you have survived all that you have survived, right? Gunshot, losing your mom, gunshot, shot in the head, losing your children, regaining your children.
I didn't lose my kids.
Well, okay.
I gave but I want to clear it up, and I'm happy you brought it up.
Yeah, well, not losing your kids, and verbiage is very, very important. Yeah. So let's.
I'm definitely hurt. I'm definitely happy that you brought it up. I didn't lose my kids. Right. What I did was I had kids and I gave them to my aunt. I gave them to their father because I was in the streets. I had to make money. Ever since I was a little girl, 14 years old, I knew how to make me some money. I always had to give for gab.
Right.
And anybody can tell you. I have to make me money. I couldn't sit down. So being that I'm out here, I'm rolling with all these guys and doing things I ain't had no business doing. That was the responsible
thing to do.
And that was the responsible thing to do. What people fail to realize, it's people now that's in this industry that don't have their kids. They have a nanny. Them kids be with nanny 24/7.
Raising them, calling them mommy.
But they just want to think that it's going to hurt me. It don't even hurt me no more because my kid's there. So I just be like, you know what, girl, bye. And it'd be so crazy because they will follow me just to say that. I'm like, for what?
What did that get you? Where did that get them? Where did that get them? I definitely appreciate you correcting that because that's not the narrative. You did not lose your kids. You did the responsible thing, and grateful that you had a community of support that was able to.
My auntie, baby, Millie
she was able to. Hey, I got you. These kids need to be safe.
And they needed the love that I couldn't give because I was so broken. I was still trying to find my way. I was young, So it's like my oldest son. He was the only one that was with me, the Caribbean. He about to go to college. He D1 scholarship, Alabama A&M. You know what I'm saying? That little boy been with me since I birthed him. He had to go stay with his grandma for a couple years, and I went on and got him as he still was a kid. Because she used to help me out with him. But he was always the one that was back and forth with me. Like if I ain't got nobody else, I got the Caribbean.
You got him. You got your baby.
And he seen Mama go through a lot and struggle. So.
I love that.
And he's about to go to Alabama A&M.
Let's go.
Football scholarship.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay. Clock that. And she did that.
And another thing that people didn't understand that my kids are still kids. I got my kids at 9, 8. Like
They're still kids.
They
still
still in
got a long
elementary
time.
school.
Yeah.
Just went to middle school. So it's like,
And children are resilient. At the end of the
they're
day,
still kids.
they love their mother. They wanted
they
to be
do.
with their mother, and
Yeah,
that
they all
is
got
it.
their own room.
Period.
All room. They live, and they said, Mom, we live great here. You know, I love my children. I wouldn't trade my children for them. That was the best thing I could have did. Got my kids. A lot of people used to be saying, you got your kids, this, that, and the third, and I didn't understand. You know, because sometimes we don't understand.
But it's that judgment. That's people judging you because judging your walk and not knowing your
don't
story.
Understand that this little girl,
they couldn't even fit your shoes.
They
baby.
couldn't.
They could not
I've been
fit
through
your
a lot.
shoes.
I've been
They
through
couldn't
a
fit them.
real lot.
They couldn't fit them. I am so grateful that the Akbar V was able to come and grace us with her presence.
I'm happy
today.
to be here.
The very first episode of the Sistas Council podcast. I want you to let the people know. We know that you have your beautiful baby on the way. I know you have a shower coming up. We're definitely going to be sending her a gift from the Sistas Council. Absolutely. What else do you have going on? I know we're going to be nesting, but what else? What do you want the people to know about that Akbar? What you working on right now?
I have a podcast also. It's called Big Mama Talk, where I do like relationship advice and just talk to people. It's more funny and things like that. And I really give out my advice from the experiences that I've been in.
That.
It's gonna be tea. We doing the editing now. Produced by Robin and executive produced by Cortez Bryan. So it's really, really dope. I also just been dropping music. I have a song dedicated to my son that I'm pregnant with now. Called Letter to Samaj. It's on every streaming platform. And I just been in the studio working. That's what I'm doing. I'm working. I'm just working and trying to stay busy.
I've been saying this all year that this is the year that we are as women, we're gearing up for greatness. So that's what it sounds like you do.
Yes.
You in your bag.
I'm in my bag.
Yeah, you in your bag. You nesting. She about to have her king. I love that. I love that. You guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed us today. I hope that you guys have cleared up any misconceptions that you have about the Akbar V, because she is bigger than what you guys see on reality TV. This is a woman that has depth. She is a woman of God. Her anointing is serious, and she is a part of the Sistas Council.
Period.
Don't you guys want to join? Don't you guys want to join?
Come.
Tag a sister. Yes, ma'am. The Sistas Council podcast. I'm your host again, Sharonda Williams Marrow, and thank you guys for joining.
Bye, you guys.